Hello everybody, MLD here. Please, if you will, like and subscribe. I'm this close to that 1,000 barrier. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you. And this video is about just real talk for a change. You see, yes, there's been a lot of news out there. Everyone's talking about it. The FPS boosts, which is great. Game Pass is now at 23 million subscribers. Fantastic. But from what I'm thinking right now is I'm still seeing online a lot of PlayStation fans, they're still just bewildered that anyone at all would prefer Xbox over their console of choice. And I want to make a video based on that. So, in my opinion, there are 5 factors, that make me want to be, or make me currently an Xbox fan today, and now and going forward. And they are as follows. I'll have them all time-stamped so you can see any individual one if you don't want to see the whole video. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first one is the backwards compatibility add-on in 2015. This actually means a lot to me. I actually miss a lot of games, more than I care to mention here, as they were new back in the day. Over the last 4 years, I beat, on average, because of backwards compatibility, because they were also on Game Pass altogether, I beat about 60 games. Like, I'm hacking away my backlog. The goal is to have my backlog finished before Halo. And I beat about 60 games from the 360 era, or even some from the original Xbox era, because of that. And because I care about these games being available, accessible. I believe some gems, they never, they age pretty well. And I want my kids to one day experience these games that I experienced back in the day. I do not think that these games should be forgotten to time just because that they are too old, as the fanboys on the other side like to say. So I'm a big supporter of backwards compatibility. I like that Xbox is leading the charge on this, and I know it's going to get even better, especially with the frame boost. So that's one reason. Next is the power narrative. We all know the Xbox One was weak against the PS4. We all know this. And it took Microsoft some time, but they finally responded with the Xbox One X. And I jumped on that right away because the knowledge that Microsoft cares about the quality of the multiplats you're playing, that matters to me. Like, I know that on Xbox One X, I was playing the best possible version of the third-party games, but also the first-party games. And with Series X, yes, I know. People are saying, the multiplat comparisons, Xbox is winning some, PS5 is winning some. It's not a video about me making excuses about, like the tools and stuff like that. The point is, I believe the specs don't lie. And it's the first year. The first year of any generation. There's been no exception to this rule. The first year of any generation, there is no real leap in power until I'd say year 2, year 3 at the earliest. I believe the specs don't lie and they will speak for themselves. And I know, based on the specs, that Microsoft, they put effort and actual proper engineering into the Series X. So that's all needs to be said about that. I am confident that they got the power, they're going to hold on to the power, and that will be a point that they will consider going forward for future generations, at least under Phil Spencer. So there's that. The third pillar, I'd say, is the acquisitions. Now, I know that means it pertains to the future, but in the present, it's an investment for me. Like, if these are games that I want to play, it is in my interest to get an Xbox for that future investment. Like, let's see, in terms of acquisitions only, there's In Exile. I was a big fan of Wasteland 3. The choice-driven storyline, all the magic that these guys did. Yes, it wasn't graphically the best, but in terms of role-playing aspect, beautiful. I want to play their future games. And to do that, I gotta have an Xbox. Then you got Ninja Theory. Hellblade 1, one of my favorite games of the Xbox One gen. Even my wife, she had to watch the whole game with me. She was that enthralled in the story and all the lore and all that stuff. I want to play Hellblade 2. I need to play Hellblade 2. And for that, I need a Series X. Then you got Playground. I was a big fan of Fable 2 back in the day. So naturally, if I want to play the Fable reboot, you gotta get Xbox. And I love arcade racers, and therefore, I want to play Forza Horizon 5. I gotta go where Playground is. Because Sony, they haven't made an arcade racer since, Drive Club? And they shut the servers down for that game like a few years later. And so enough about that. And when's the last time Sony made a Western RPG? So let's just move on from that. Obsidian, looking forward to Avowed. I love Skyrim. So it stands to say if this is a next generation Skyrim with in a Pillars of Eternity universe, sign me up. And then, of course, Bethesda. I want the next Elder Scrolls. I want more Fallout. I want to know what Starfield's like because I love sci-fi games. And sci-fi RPGs, amazing. id Software. I love me some Doom. So get an Xbox right now. I mean, I'm playing these IPs like now, like whatever versions are out. But if I want that future investment, knowing that where these games are going to be, it's going to be on Xbox. So that's my third point. The fourth one, and this is huge for me, it's Game Pass, obviously. The value aspect is unmatched. If you could have, the $15, all you can play, day one first party, even third party games. If I had that as a kid, that would have been the best thing ever. It's just, like, listen guys, I mean, let's get real here. I have a full-time job. I'm married. I'm doing things to the house right now, like fixing it up. Like, we got budgets. My disposable income, whatever money I could save there, I can put towards things like the house. It's just as simple as that. Like, you gotta be responsible. And if I can play more games for less money, I'm there. I'm doing it. Like that, Microsoft just gets like they want your loyalty, and they're doing that by giving you as much bang for the buck as possible. And if I wanted to do the same thing, if I were to play all the third-party games, the same ones I beat on Game Pass on PlayStation, I would be paying hundreds more per year, guaranteed. So for that, Xbox got my loyalty where it counts, my wallet. So that's all that needs to be said. I mean, there's a difference between being cheap and being smart with your money. In the end, I'm playing more games than I ever have for like pennies on the dollar. You cannot debate this. Even if the first party major exclusives won't come till the end of the year, I am still having a blast knocking off my backlog, playing all these games that I know for a fact that PlayStation fans are paying more for the same game. So that's it there. And number 5 is just simply the genres. I like what Xbox does better than what Sony's first party does. I like first-person shooters. I like sci-fi first-person shooters. So back when I was, I left Nintendo when the Wii came out. That's another story. But I look at Killzone 2 versus Halo 3. I went with Halo. And God, did I make the right choice for obvious reasons. I mean, what? Killzone Shadowfall. This series just disappointed after everyone after 2. Whereas Halo Infinite, I am more excited than ever. Even Halo 5, for its story faults in the campaign, I loved the multiplayer. I put so much time into the multiplayer since Halo 3 when that came out in 2007. So, like, that's just some context right there. I like Western RPGs, and as I said before, Xbox has most of the Western RPG developers, the best of the best, under their belt, where Sony has zero Western RPG talent. I mean, I don't know if you can count, they got nothing that I want in terms of Western RPGs. I like arcade racing. Again, Forza Horizon, that's my thing. Can't wait for Forza Horizon 5. I like strategy games, so Halo Wars 1, Halo Wars 2, Gears Tactics. Yeah, it's a niche genre, but I love this kind of stuff. I love this genre. When was the last time Sony made a first-party strategy game? Yeah, I thought so. And, of course, multiplayer. Again, the PlayStation first-party lineup, it just blurs together. Third-person, single-player, AAA, cinematic, action-adventure. And if they do have a multiplayer component, it is not the main aspect. Like, say, when Last of Us 2 was coming out, and they announced that they would cut the multiplayer, the internet's reaction to that was a big meh. They did not give a shit, because they wanted the single player. The multiplayer was an afterthought. See, whereas I put in a lot of hours into Sea of Thieves, a very unique multiplayer experience. I play MCC multiplayer. I play Halo 5 multiplayer. Like, I like social games. I play with other people. And that is something Xbox does infinitely better than PlayStation. So that's it. If you guys are confused, if you guys were legitimately concerned, like, if you guys legitimately had the question, why do Xbox fans prefer Xbox over PlayStation? Now you know. This is my honest opinion, and really is truth from the heart, and I think it's pretty logical and grounded. So if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. So that's it. See you guys.